Fuck you, I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.
Hello and welcome to your premier Dominion 6 podcast, Dominion 6 Rise of the Podcaster. I am one of your hosts, HP Munchcraft, not dead, surprisingly. And with me today are Sauron and Darkwolf. And why don't you reintroduce yourself to the audience? What do you have to say for yourself, Sauron?
Come back from the ashes, and despite everyone telling me I can't bitch, I will bitch. Fuck you. Nothing will stop me from my... I don't know. I'm just going to complain about stuff. If you don't like it, fight me in the comments.
What
I'll
about
probably
you,
still ignore it.
What about you,
Now,
Darkwolf? How have you been?
now that Benito Mussolini is done talking, I think we need to focus on me. I've been fantastic. I may not lose all my hair.
Wait, what?
He might not lose all his hair.
Dude,
Might.
they
Copium.
they told me I had male pattern baldness when I went into the hair lady, and I got prescribed meds, and I came to the UK, and my meds ran out, so I went to the doctor here. I was like, I think I got male pattern baldness. They told me that. And then the guy looked at my head with a microscope, and he's like, maybe not. Maybe you have a form of alopecia that causes your hair to exude a lot more fluid, which means your hair's been suffocating. Use this shampoo and it should work. And so we will see.
Hey.
If I do not go bald, though, then I will not look like Benito Mussolini that is in the VC with us.
I am not bald for one, but whatever. You're always being told to be so.
In my head, he's a mooch, though.
Listen,
I'm not a mooch.
bald, I'm just balding, okay?
I'm not even balding. I have all my hair.
He
Thank
is.
you very much.
HP's balding.
Yeah, I am malding. Always malding.
That's the nature of Dominions. Fuck you, I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.
Speaking of malding, speaking of actually the game that we were gonna play and podcast about,
Angry eyebrows.
we didn't have really good ideas for a podcast topic, so we're going to just start with the most recent patch, and we're going to see if anything productive develops from there.
Uh-oh. Will he leave this, or will it be edited out in post? Find out today.
But the fucking this patch is we have the long anticipated and awaited Coomer Patch that is set to serve that long neglected and underserved segment of the community, the Dominion 6 shipping and erotic fan fiction part of the community, and we're pleased to announce with the changes to seduction and succubi with this latest patch, your Catboy Impreg fan fictions are now officially canon and represented by game mechanics.
Listen, in winter,
uncomfortable.
saw Lucid's fucking his spout, and they're like, "What if we one up him?" and we write it into the lore about some weird king.
We gotta apologize for giving Lucid so much shit for his
hentai mod.
His fucked up hentai mod in the what was it, the Gem Gen mod where he had a hentai item at the very beginning, but that was like years ago. But now it's like Illwinter is just like writing like goat fucking into the main nation descriptions. Like it's like,
well,
okay.
all I'm saying is, listen, Illwinter, like they're a company of greatness, and they couldn't be lesser than anyone on anything. They have to make the best hentai for furries.
They gotta have better hentai than Lucid does.
I'm not gonna kink shame. They leave it in. Who cares? Maybe diversify like some of the things. Like if you're gonna go all weird, just have some variety. I don't know.
So if you're totally confused about what we're talking about, in this patch, there was a new nation, LA Pyrenees, which is heavily blood-based and with a succubus and cambion sub-theme. And if you don't know what a cambion is, it was the medieval idea of like, well, what happens when you get seduced by a succubus? Well, they give birth eventually to a cambion, or it's more complicated than that, but they're eventually cambion offspring, which is like a half demon who grows up like ages very quickly, like grows to adulthood very quickly, and is just generally a bastard. And these guys are La Pyrenees is run by Cambions, but as part of that lore, as part of that patch, the normal succubus that you can just summon through the blood school, blood glamour cross path, now can randomly give you Cambion if it gets successful seductions, and then it just gives you extra mages with more paths you may not have had. So it's
Dude, it
just
close.
more.
I think it's
more,
a cool change.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a cool change.
it definitely gives you like
a reason to
Listen,
summon.
flavor with content is where Dominion is at its best, and I stand by that.
Well, it gives seduction some play that's not just like, oh, it's a way to fucking grief your opponent and assassinate people. Like,
and it's not, and it's only for the succubi and the incubus. Other seducers can't do this, so no dryad babies or whatever.
right. Well, Dryads have been nerfed into the dirt, but given how toxic they were in 5, I think that's fucking deserved. Like,
did they need to change form? I think there was a better way.
It hurts indie shamans, which I don't like, but it...
Not my indie shamans, but the anime tree, once in a while, when you get that big-ass tree.
It's true, yeah, when you get a...
Yeah, animate bush or whatever, or tree.
This is an older patch, but I just have to say, Illwinter, the people who were complaining about too much terrain on the battlefield, they're shitters. Add more. Just add more battlefield terrain. Put more trees on the battlefield. I want more shit in the way. And then and then make it show up in the scouting report like it does with Conquest of Elysium, so you can actually play around it. Lamau.
Listen, I want Illwinter to add unique maps we can fight in. Like we could have different kinds of sieges. We could have bridge battles.
Right.
I mean, if you have a lower tier fort, you should have more openings, and then as you have a higher tier fort, then you get closer to what we have now.
Yeah, I agree.
You could have something really cool, and all they have to do is put another fucking hole in the wall. Like, it can't be that hard.
Click the delete button.
Well,
Fuck off.
I mean, I generally like the fort change to now include fort defenders, because Lord knows players were not actually including defenders in their
it makes forts so hard to take now.
Right.
Good change, though.
But you could actually make, COE already has the fort system implemented with a lot more complex fortification styles, which you could pretty easily implement in the game, I think. Or, I say pretty easily, I don't know how hard it is to fuck
It's probably a bit of work, but
yeah.
it would be cool.
It would be very cool. It would also be very, very cool if we got to mod battlefield maps, but that's...
Yeah,
so this brings up... I know this is like jumping all over the place. There is a half-demon tag, isn't there?
I think there is now.
There is... No, there is. It's...
There was
go to
EA
Abyssia.
Oh!
EA Abyssia.
Okay.
Half demon, half undead.
Yeah, okay. I only bring this up, right? Because the Cambions are supposed to be half demons, but they're treated as demons, and it's been driving me up a wall.
I mean,
listen, Illwinter forgot they made that tag.
Well, yeah, it's like
I don't like they've never used the tag. They're just
it's like, hey, remember friendly civilization bonuses? You know how there are now like Pyrenee Berktides in caves as an indie type, but they're not friendly civ to fucking Pyrenee the nation, because Illwinter forgot they put that totally pointless mechanic in the game.
Listen, we're only 5 months in, and we still got bugs from launch. It's fine.
It's not a real complaint. It's more like they're not, like, I understand. They're not going to take things out of the game. They would rather leave something in incomplete than take it out. So it's just like, it's just going to end up with more and more shit like that, where it's like, the reason why you forgot about this was because it was a terrible mechanic that did nothing.
Oh, wait, they're already roasting me in the comments. This is part undead/demon, so that's probably why they didn't use it.
All right.
My bad.
That's interesting. I was just wondering, because it's half human.
I don't know. Listen,
whatever. It doesn't matter, right? But it does specifically say half demon.
Like, well, they don't have a tag. They just have half demon, half undead.
The other half is demon too. But
Yeah,
I think
demon humans. All humans are
being
demons.
being being like maybe a little bit more practical about it. That would create some leadership problems for the nation. Maybe. Wait, would it? No, it wouldn't. Fuck, I'm an idiot.
Don't demons get undead leader because they're considered undead for whatever reason?
Yeah,
They're not
well,
magic
it
beings. They're
was one
undead.
like Undead Demon was one tag at one point, and then they separated it out, and I don't know how much of that is still in the fucking guts of the game.
I can't remember, but a nation has it.
Oh, look, the Cambion Countess has a adept crossbreeder.
Listen, I think it's just cool that you can summon succubus, and maybe you get some free mages, but
Right, yeah.
maybe you don't. Don't build your entire strategy around it. It's just like, is there a reason to summon these things? Yeah.
It's better. It's better than just having them be
like
griefing tools.
I do have a complaint. Fuck you! I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me. Here they go. The comments are going insane. No, but fix bear charm. Why does cat charm switch the genders if you're for an incubus or a male, but bear charm if you're a female doesn't work? Like, what the fuck is that?
Because Soran, beauty is an implemented stat in the game, but handsomeness is not.
Yeah, but they only did it halfway. Like, why is it only? It's like, bro, you painted half the wall. What is this?
Illwinter is they know their entire fan base is attracted to femboys, but none of them are attracted to bears. So that
listen, I double checked it too. I went back to Dom 5 to see if like the bear claw worked. So it's been broken for like what, 6+ years?
Well, I think what it does is it just makes you worse at seducing if you're a female, but it doesn't switch. It doesn't make.
Yeah, but cat charm switches your gender,
right?
So
right.
normally you can't seduce females if you're or what is it? If you're a male.
I also think it's extremely funny that like bear is a known like it's gay slang for a specific like body type that people are attracted to, but the bear charm does not like make you a bear. Like it just makes you a clear. It doesn't actually like
what are they trying to say?
Attracted to that kind of person. Like there's like a lot of people who are into hairy men. Like I don't
listen.
It's not me.
Illwinter is shaming. Like, they like everyone shaved. Clearly, they're.
But Illwinter knows that people like femboy catboys, but they don't understand the attraction to like manly men for whatever reason. Like,
listen, maybe if we flame them enough, they'll fix it. To be like these fuckers.
Well, listen,
you won't kick shame me.
No,
excuse me.
Listen,
Joseph Stalin, Benito Mussolini, stop being so negative. All right, we need to bring back happy people.
Oh, I was confused where you were going. You were just saying Dark Wolf things. Okay.
Listen, we believe in joy within this VZ.
Fuck you! I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.
Yeah. So the next thing we're gonna want to talk about is the late game, and the reason why we're gonna talk about this is because the patch has basically nerfed life after death straight into the garbage can due to some
spell sucks now.
Late game upkeep saving shenanigans you could do with it, but that's not really all that interesting. Neither the shenanigans nor the like nerf are all that interesting. So let's just talk about the new late game, because as of Dom 6, the Immortal Train is stopped. You are no longer just going to be making vampires and liches as a late game strategy. Instead, you're going to go up to a single 9, because you can't get multiple, and
unless your game settings
blow the game up with that.
Okay, so there's a lot of people like to theorycraft about late game bullshit, and obviously our podcast is more leaning towards like the early and mid game. So a lot of our games, because we're so aggro oriented, don't go that long. We either end the game or it gets called or whatever. So normally our group and the people we play with, We don't run into this often. And other people in the community, in other servers, will have these late games happen all the time because maybe they're not as aggressive, maybe the games are slower. So they have stronger opinions about it, but because we take more aggro-oriented builds, it's not the same. So a lot of people nowadays they're talking about stuff like Legions of Demise, which is probably a not balanced spell, but it, my opinion is maybe it shouldn't be as strong as it is. Like maybe there should be a little bit more you can do against false damage, and maybe the stuff that is supposed to counter it needs to be fixed. So if you don't know, in order to deal with false damage, one of the ways you can do that is by having True Sight. And applying True Sight, sometimes your mage will refuse to cast it, and painting it can be a chore. So Legions of Demise is pretty bullshit, because on average or something, according to Logi, I might be butchering this, so apologies. You take like 3 damage every round. So after 20 rounds, most normal armies, even with like anti-magic or whatever, are gonna blow up if they're a bunch of humans. So a lot of people are complaining about it.
Well, to me, that spell's level 9, correct? Like,
it's a 9. Yeah.
So to me, I don't really care about brokenness at the very high end levels, especially now that you only get single 9s. I think that creates design problems with some of the ones that are just not worth researching. But if you are playing with a lobby that only lets you research a single 9 at a time, my opinion is like, let people take the broken spell that wins the game, because the game does have to end sometime, and if you're not going to have game winning spells at research level 9, like, what are you doing with your life? You're just going back to the Dominion's 3 method of we're just going to grind on each other all game, and it's just going to be like, we're going to start pushing our Dom with like juggernauts or some shit as a way of winning. But to me, it's like, well, Gift of Nature's Bounty is a totally broken spell that just means you win the gold game, period, and have no competition in that era. But I'm fine with that, because like, if you reach that point and you put that global up and they don't counter you, like, then yeah, you deserve to win the game. And I think it's good for the game to have certain things at the highest level of research that push a game to a conclusion. So for me, Legions of Demise, that's good, because it's a battlefield wide that does that, when previously it had been globals and, to a lesser extent, immortals. I think immortals were a bit unfairly nerfed, because they weren't, like, yes, you get on the immortal grind, but I think the immortal grind was always inherently weaker than the big globals.
I don't know about that. I think like Flames from the Sky was like one way you could interact with like kind of delete armies, and then people would get into this grind set of, they would make a bunch of like dragon helms in advance and do all this dumb shit with like preparing that way, and then all their armies are involving tons of summons. So on one hand, like, maybe I agree with you a little bit, like the game does need to end, but I also don't like that the game sometimes will boil down to abusing stuff that is clearly like overtuned or super strong. And then the game just like, you have this big finale, and it's like it ends and it's garbage. It's like a bad resolution to something that's built up over months. So I don't like that, but that's why I generally enjoy the early and mid game a lot more than late game, because late game there's more micro and there's more bullshit, and it's hard to balance at that point.
To be fair, as much as Dominion's players like talking about the late game and feeling
nobody likes playing it, but Lucid.
Well, hold on. Well,
don't just flame them like that.
Feeling like a mage in a tower with all your like grand plans and schemes coming together, and you're casting world-changing magic. In reality, most games don't even get to the true late game. Like, not the
late.
They
get to the mid late.
Yeah,
they get to the late mid game.
Well, our games don't, but other people's games do.
But some do.
Sure, but even in the ones that do, generally it's like obvious most players are eliminated by then, and the late game doesn't last that long in most of those games even compared to the rest of the game. So what you're really looking at is like a very small slice of the total play time of people
Well,
playing
but
it.
actually, dropping my joking, like I've been kind of joking a little bit this podcast. I do think I disagree simply because when you're in the late game, the turns leave a very big impact on you because they are so big and require so much effort if you're working to complete them competently. Like if you're shitting them up, it doesn't matter, right? But like a good example would be like Iridia games when you hit like turn 120, right?
Right.
Those turns take hours on hours on hours. In
And
which
just for
case,
you to get cheesed by some dumb thing that's like there's certain effects currently in the game that I think we would probably agree, and most of the community would agree, are binary and they're not good for the game. And I think false damage is a new mechanic, and I think it's cool, but I think there should be more counters to it. Just like I think, fuck you, I'm bitching in this episode, you can't stop me. On a non-late game mechanic that has been overhauled, Fear should be absolutely overhauled and gutted because it's warped the game around it, and the fact that it wasn't nerfed
Yeah.
in the last patch. Yes, I'm complaining about this, but also fuck you. Oh,
we
you
need
think I'm
some
not going to
Mussolini
complain
as a
about
fear to
Fear?
get.
It's fine if Fear can like be on summons and stuff because it's that's cool, fine. But why when you in its current implementation with Sacreds and Blesses, it is just the dumbest thing in the
It is
world.
obscenely powerful because it's actually the reason it's so strong is because the new Dominions game is focused so much on making troops impactful, which I think as a group we all really enjoy.
Oh,
However,
it's not
Fear.
even that. It's just how the mechanic works and how it's
Well,
stacked.
yeah, well, because the way Fear works right now, it looks at troops and it's like, and then they run.
But it's not even troops. It's Sacreds and Elites. It's everyone.
Well, okay,
Everyone.
Yeah,
if
but those are troops.
If we're gonna go on the Fear hoedown, let's explain why it's so strong in this current
I did a video
iteration.
on it. Go watch my video.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, Darkliff. I agree. Here's a middle figure from me and the audience.
Okay, no, but like you don't actually go into the new implementation. So the new implementation of Fear, it's an aura. I don't know exactly how it works, but what it does is applies.
I have it in my video.
It applies fear checks to you to make your guys run away, but it also applies a negative fear malice when the aura clicks, and that morale malice can go down to -10, which is, if you look at the way morale bonuses can stack in the game, is kind of insane. It's almost impossible to not impossible, it's very, very difficult to stack your morale higher than like up to a +10 so that you aren't taking hideous negatives for that morale malice. But then it's also at the same time in Dominion 6, troops can route one at a time in addition to the squad routing, so those individual morale checks, which are applying repeatedly based on all those fear auras, which is of course doubled on your sacred cavalry because the horses are sacred too, because that system is also poorly implemented. So the way it works is you're generating all these negative malices to your front line's morale, and they're individually taking morale checks to run in addition to the squad taking morale checks that might just turn and break on its own. So what you end up with is it's a mechanic that is more powerful now than it was in 5. It's more powerful when massed, more things mass it, and it's become a cheaper bless, and incarnate stacking has become slightly more favorable. So as a Hellbless rush thing, Fear and its glamour analog, what is it called, Dread, are a bit overpowered right now, and that's kind of widely recognized by the community. That said, I haven't seen a lot of people fear bombing. It's just everybody knows that you could.
Oh, it's definitely happening. You can talk to people who are blitzing or in games. They'll be like, "Yeah, half my lobby has fear or dread," or "Oh yeah, we're blitzing and 4 people have fear," right. And it's like, God damn it! It's unfun because the way you counter it is you can use Touch of Madness because then you don't give a fuck about fear.
Right,
but then
is in Dark Wolf's video.
Yes, but then it's still a binary check, and binary checks, especially in the blessing department. So, in my opinion, fear, dread, the whatever the splendor one is called. Hold on, let me get the exact name so I'm not being peanut. Unbearable Splendor and something else I can't remember. They're binary checks, and I don't think binary checks are good for the game.
I, I think it's impossible to remove all the binary checks in the game because there's a
Well, yeah, but
lot
you
of
should
stuff
definitely
like that.
limit.
I actually think it's because they did remove a bunch of them. Uh, it's just there's some new ones.
Like, if they were more counterable and it wasn't as big of like it's like, oh, if you're just dealing with fear, you think, oh, just touch or whatever, or I'll use a berserker, and
Right.
berserkers don't work against fucking fear because your guys have to take damage to go berserk, so that doesn't work. Your guys
Well,
will get up to the fear guys and they'll fucking run away like idiots.
I mean,
Uh,
sometimes Berserker works, but yeah, you do
but,
have to.
but the cases where a berserk
There is a chance that your guys don't berserk, which is very funny. They just run before they berserk, but I don't see a lot of that.
they should generally, if they're gonna not fix fear, that one, make berserkers not route against fear because they're berserkers. Like, what are you? You're a pussy and you're a berserker? Get out of here! Fuck you! I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.
Well, so I do want to say, like, I think the way where fear is in the meta, it is at a very toxic place, but the meta still isn't fully formed, and honestly, Five's meta wasn't even fully formed at the end of the game. But
Yeah.
it's that I don't know if any of you are like old Grognard Magic the Gathering players, but and I don't know if any of you remember the original Mirrodin Affinity. And what the problem was with Mirrodin Affinity was it was a very powerful mechanic, very, very strong, but it wasn't, and it would beat any normal fair deck, but it wasn't enough of the meta that Haterator decks that were designed to just counter it were strong. Because if we look at the fear mechanic, in theory, you can take a Berserk Blast. So in theory, if fear is just the meta, people could start just taking Berserker as a bless and then broadly counter the fear guys because Berserk has additional bonuses on top of countering fear, which is a more expensive bless, so that would beat it. But what's happening now is that fear and dread are not so dominant that they make up enough of the meta for Berserk to win out, because you're going to have other people who want to do more creative things with their bless, or want to take scales, or want to do just want to do something other than fear bomb people. So and Berserk is going to be much, much worse against those guys because, let's be honest, it's not a great bless in the first place for most sacreds. So it's kind of in this toxic area at the moment. And I do think...
but it doesn't even counter fear to begin with.
Well,
If you take
it
berserker
does.
blood, no, it doesn't, because your guys have to take damage again. So berserker does not count like
Your guys,
HP.
listen, your
The
guys will
goal
take
tested in
damage.
single player. Your guys will run sometimes in testing.
So,
It is the dumbest shit.
some of the times, it'll be good enough, trust me.
It's not.
It'll be good
I
enough.
I
I've
have
had
tested this
experiences
extensively.
with fear.
It's not. I have actually spent the time. Fuck you. Go in single player. Try it yourself. If I'm wrong, you
I will
flame me.
never play single player.
And that's why you're wrong.
Uh,
There's a binary
that's why you
kill with
suck.
their covered their bases. Of course they did it. No, they didn't. They have no idea what they did. This is just a catastrophe. And the fact that it wasn't fixed after 5 months is,
So
I can blame it no
I
winter.
do want to talk about the design problem. I like that is represented by fear, and maybe how they should like just redesign the mechanic entirely. So the way that fear and all auras work is the higher their number is just a higher radius. It doesn't make the checks more extreme. So in a
Well, if
sense,
it capped,
in a sense, fear is at an appropriate level for monsters with fear, because you want them to be strong. You want that to be a strong mechanic and people to run away from the giant scary monsters. But then when you give that same mechanic to a bunch of like small level shitters, right, that are 3 per square or 8 or like 4 per square in the case of cavalry, 4 chassis per square, and they don't have high levels of fear, but you're just having the people who in direct contact with them take multiple ticks of the malice and multiple morale checks per turn, and that's way more effective than the single monster with the high fear value. So in that sense, it's like maybe you should just rework the way the mechanic was implemented entirely. Now, I thought fear was fine in 5. I even took fear blesses like a couple of times, a little memey, but like I didn't think it was in 5 that I don't think it was so bad that it needed such a gigantic buff. And there's a lot of downstream, and there's a lot of downstream changes that are made worse by that change.
If it was the same effect from 5 and then it costed 8, it would be fine. Because like it was just -5 morale. The problem with the new fear is, one, the R's, again, it stacks it. So 1 to 2. It's decent, but it's not that bad. When you have like 40 of them, and there's 40 stupid auras that are just dinking up the negative morale in it because it's not capped.
Yeah, and
if it was just
if you take morale on your bless, that is capped at 5. It's only 5 points, but morale is capped at 5, so that's not. So in order to counter it on your bless, you need to have plus morale, heroism, and then righteous fury, and then you need to have someone
y'all
die.
talking a lot for some people that could be watching my video.
You don't discuss this in your video. I watched your video. I was the first person to watch your video, in fact.
Yeah, he's actually a loyal viewer, unlike you, Darkwolf.
I am the only person to ever watch Darkwolf's video.
Listen, some of the community members in the Dominion community have some great suggestions on fixing fear. There's some good discussion about it. There's some peanut discussions for sure, but I still think people, they're giving suggestions. Something should be done to fear. It is too strong right now. Will they fix it? We'll have to wait and see. They'll probably triple nerf it like they do everything they don't like. I think the changes to life after death was probably unnecessary.
Yeah, they were kind of pissed.
If you wanted to address life after death with the weird Satis thing, all you have to do to fix LA Satis is you make the Holy 2 reanimators instead of them summoning Tomb Worms, they summon Tomb Chariots, and then Holy 3s now summon Tomb Worms. That's how you fix it. LA Satis, because the Chariots are actually interesting and Tomb Worms are not interesting. But that garbage that is not interesting in the higher tier, people can still get it, but now it's not. A nation that was dog tier is now S tier.
Well, it's really. Are we going to talk about the LA Satis thing? Because
that's all you have to do to fix it.
All right, so let me.
Fuck you! I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.
Hey, this is HP doing a half-assed conclusion because I split the episode up in editing. Next time we'll finish up talking about spoilers, that LA Satis build that's got everyone worked up, and then some other bullshit. See you then.
Fuck you! I'm bitching in this episode. You can't stop me.